Ah, we can hear it. Last time I played this shit, I couldn't even hear it. I was stressing, but we're not stressed anymore, motherfucker! Whew. Good day, good evening, and good night. This is the time for a lot of stupid and ridiculous shit to be said. Welcome. Do it or don't. Here for a good time, sometimes a long time. That's the only way we know how. Welcome, one and all.
You didn't fix that fade out, did you?
I haven't. I'm manually riding this shit. Here we go. Boom. Hands off the gas.
It doesn't fade?
It does fade. It's just very
It's
extended.
very long. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, if you try to fade it, it, like, jumps. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, hopefully.
Anyway.
Hopefully not.
Sorry.
Anywho, welcome. This is Do It or Don't number 9. Last single digit. Whoa, that was a very... Just hold the animal right in front.
He's a slinky boy. I had to get him before he stepped on a key and logged me off of this meeting.
Yeah, that's fair. Welcome. I'm your host, Spencer. We got Grayson and Quinn on the call, as always. Passing gas. You know what's funny? Now that soundbite has reminded me of something, I have a fecal test I have to do tomorrow. I was gonna do it before this meeting, but it says I need to do it the same day.
Spencer, the old man of the show, has to find out if he needs a colonoscopy.
Where's my IBS gang at?
So, straight up, I do also have a referral to have some lab work done. Some shit
first
work
time?
done. Yeah, well,
That's
I
so
don't.
funny.
It's nothing's going up. It's just they need to do a little swabbage.
Yeah. Well, not to shatter your realm of your perspective of reality, but anytime you see a Purolator truck, know full well that there very much might be a fecal, like human feces in a box that is being transported. Because at least in Calgary, that's the Purolator is the courier of choice for all your caca.
Bro, fuck Purolator. They did not deliver my alcohol during COVID.
Probably just too busy delivering other people's shit to the hospital.
Other people's alcohol.
Quinn's gonna
SAQ.
send their boogers in for
Sorry,
testing.
I did not mean to do that with my mic wide open.
Yeah, I had this bit called "What's in the Box," and I would just have the box, and I would do like a 20 questions kind of thing. But yeah, not this time. Next time we do a "What's in the Box" segment, you might think it's I'm pulling a fast one on you, but it could just be anything. Are you sure? Before we got a really exciting episode planned today. And we actually have a call-in, our first call-in for this show ever. So that's very, very exciting. We're going to be talking mainly about this past weekend. I went up to Edmonton to help with a handful of other very talented photographers and videographers to document and cover the Calling All Captains hometown show that happened at Union Hall, which I don't think any of you have been to a show there. It was my first time specifically, but it's about 1,000-person cap room, and for an all local, like some bands from Calgary or Vancouver that were present, it was fucking packed. Are you blowtorching something?
I straight up thought that Quinn was trying to fucking light a tree or some shit.
I didn't know that was that.
I thought they were just going crazy over there.
I didn't think you could hear that. I was just trying to
Spencer's
light a
like
candle.
It's just 5 minutes deep into his story, and it's just
I have a
blazing
candle.
trails
Quinn's just
over
like
in Quinn World.
so over it. Time to just light a stick of dynamite in my room.
Trying to light a candle. I'm sorry.
Not a
Grayson,
candle for me.
And
I was waiting for Grayson to drop the fucking explosion sounds. Just yeah, exactly.
I love how this
Okay,
is
sorry.
it is.
continue with what you're saying.
No,
Are you sure? Can
I'm
we-
just kind of just trying to set up the episode, and you're trying to, have some nice. I hope it's at least a good smelling candle.
Yes, it smells
It's
very good.
fart scented.
Smells like
But
my
It
butthole.
doesn't want to light.
I hate when you're like you have your lighter and then you're holding it like this, and then you're just.
Well, because there's not even that much left of it, right? Which is the thing.
Oh, that's too far gone.
That's time for a new candle.
That's-
That's new candle moment.
That's like 5% left of a candle.
Yeah.
You need to take your ass to
Gotta use
Dollarama
it
and get
all.
yourself a new candle.
I think once you hit 5%, I don't think there's really much left to suffice.
Bro, once my phone hits 20%, I'm like, I just need a new phone.
I have
Just throw it
another
out.
World of Warcraft themed candle to use next.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Well-
World of Warcraft themed candle.
Does it smell like sweaty gamer?
Hold on.
Oh, show and tell time. Derailing my setup for this episode.
Sorry.
Can't see it. Oh. Fuck off. I'm meditating. Playing World of Warcraft.
'Cause there's
I'm surprised it isn't Chums Up, Let's Do This, Leroy Jenkins. The
Oh,
scent.
no.
I have a mug that says "Drinking my enemy's tears" or something like that.
Speaking of drinking, what's everyone drinking?
My classic coffee combination.
Coffee.
Coffee.
I need a sample that says coffee. Is it my
You got
turn?
the DP.
Dr. Pepper Zero, baby. Drink of champions. My adult gamer fuel.
I got a GT that the Miz made before I came into the garage here, so that's very, very sweet. It's been a long ass week, so the the booze help. Sorry to the straight edge. I have some vices. Okay, so anyways, we're gonna be chatting about that show and how that went. That was actually the first time that I had filmed since I was like doing the math. I think the last time I filmed a show was when I first moved back to Calgary. I filmed one show and then I like soft retired all of 2024. So it was like a year and 4 months
How
or
soft?
something. Soft in the sense that I wasn't like, I'm retired. Well, originally, and this I kind of put on the doc that maybe I'll like deep dive into this, depending on how this episode goes. But originally it was, I'm just gonna take a year off of filming, and then 2 months in, I was like, I think I'm just retired. And talking with the guys, it was like, I made a joke like, I'm not here tonight as Spencer of Scoped Exposure. I'm Spencer of hired, like, I'm a hired gun just for the production of this whole thing. And the only
so you
way
don't
you're
do it-
gonna,
You don't do it for the love anymore. You just do it for the money.
yeah,
That's so
you
punk
got
of
me.
you.
What a sellout. I'm just kidding.
It's a me. It's a me, sellout Spencer. Yeah,
gonna
sellout
say it.
implies that I accumulated wealth off of doing that and then applied it to something else. But
Oh.
actually, it's the opposite. If anything, I went into the negative.
Don't you love when you get like a bigger project to work on and then you're like, oh, wait, I forgot I don't have like half this shit that I need to do it. And you got to buy
That's
it.
just the story of my life.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, me with my freaking DJI mic to do interviews and stuff.
are you using that today?
No, I plugged my
Oh.
Zoom back in because it just sounded better than the
I think so.
DJI,
And
I
then you're
think.
not like holding it all the time.
Yeah.
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 Or you could have just got like a fork and put it on the end of the fork.
I was thinking of that, but
People put the whack like the street interview shit where they'll have like this is a very Canadian example, but they'll have like a mini stick and they're just like holding it to like
Yeah.
interview someone. Like I've seen like chopsticks. Like it's very Wild West.
I like what Rode came out with recently because they released the wireless Go or the
Oh.
like whatever for your phone. But now they have this. It's called the Interview Go. And it looks like an
I've seen
old
it.
school like stick mic where you can put the actual mic element inside and put a windscreen over it, so it's like a microphone.
Oh.
Yeah. I think they have one like that for the NTG style.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
For
too.
like one of the bigger ones.
The shotgun mic,
Yeah.
Okay.
the shotgun mic.
The shotgun mic. Did you just
Sorry.
set yourself up that way? You're like, hey, yes.
I am the
all right.
controller of my own destiny.
You very much are. So we just got a few things to kind of get into before we get into the calling out captains discussions. The first is it was funny because I think the day that our last episode dropped was the day of the election and Mr. Carney getting into office. You know, we were talking about the Nardwar interview that he did where he was talking about Down with Webster, and I guess at the celebration for after the election, he was jamming out to DWW. And to be fair,
Who'd you vote for?
We're just gonna go straight there.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with you. Jagmeet? No, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna talk about that.
Did you see that Jagmeet was on some like news and then it said Pierre Paul whatever the fuck his
Polyev.
last name is? I'm like,
Polyev.
bro. I'm like this. Okay, do you think there's any Pierres in this world that have that wear a turban? There's no shot.
I don't know, man. You never. I don't
It's
think
a
that's
very French name, isn't it?
Yes, it is like the quintessential.
Yeah, so that would be weird.
Yeah, but not to say that a French person can't become Jagmeet is Sikh, if I'm remembering correctly.
I mean, it's 2025. Anybody can become anything.
That's true. But I think it is a more unicorn kind of thing. So I think Pierre, the fact that he didn't even win his riding in Ottawa is like, that's a, I mean, that man's on the Conservative Party, but that's a big fucking L. You might as well be a liberal.
It's crazy because he's like, I'm running for party leader. Doesn't even win his own district. Crazy. It's just
Yeah,
like,
That's pretty insane.
You're just whack, like straight up. Are we supposed to be hearing sound?
Oh, can you not hear the sound?
Nah, it's kind of glitchy.
Oh, okay. Well, it's
I see the
not
shirt,
really
though.
important. The custom 1 of 1 is kind of fire.
Is that like a hockey sweater too?
Yeah, we got some tassels.
Damn, that's a crazy pull.
This is a pretty, like, that's a pullover hoodie. I wasn't bringing this up in the merchandise analysis of this, but it's more just I mean, in the alternative reality where he didn't win, I don't know if this just gets like silently like given to him, like, hey, you could wear this, but don't wear it out because it says PM beside it.
Okay, wait, that is kind of whack. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of corny.
Oh, the PM makes it whack?
Yeah. Yeah. But it
I
does have a
mean,
Canadian flag, which is pretty dope.
here's the thing. I think all politicians, to a degree, are inevitably fucked because of how the world runs. But he is the lesser of two evils, and I think the fact that he has better music taste than whatever Pierre or I don't know, like maybe Jagmeet fucks with Power Trip. But that's not information that I'm privy to. So,
Let's ask him. Get him on the pod.
Jagmeet.
Jagmeet, come
So
on the
we're
pod.
only here today to talk about your musical preferences.
I have no interest in what you politically stand for. I just want to know what music you fucks with.
This should just be a thing of this show. Oh, that's true. Yeah, who the fuck did you vote for, Grayson? In the U.S. election?
I didn't vote in this past U.S. election because it's a bunch of fucking hardships for me to try to get a ballot.
Wait, can you still vote if you're living in No, you can't do that.
Yeah, you vote from abroad. Yes.
Yeah, you can if you're a
you
dual citizen. Yeah.
No, you can. If you're a U.S. citizen living anywhere in the world, you can have a absentee ballot sent to you. Mine comes over email, but it's like I have to like register and then I have to confirm with my district that I last lived in that I can receive it, that they got my information, and then I have to like follow up and then do like a bunch of. It's like a kind of a.
So they make it pretty
process.
much impossible just to focus on people that currently live in the country.
Not impossible. It's just like a pain in the butt. It's harder than like going to your local voting poll and standing in line.
Yeah.
So.
Too many hoops to jump through.
Yeah. But you know me. who I'd be voting for? Bernie.
I was gonna say the big bad Cheeto.
The Big T. Big T, what's up?
Big T?
If Bernie would run,
we
definitely would have. If Bernie would have run,
you would travel back to make sure you could vote.
I would like go head over heels trying to make sure I had a ballot so that I could put Mr. I'd apply for like some like body that's been dead. Like I'd get one of those fake ballots, that they were talking about. Like I would just be doing crazy ballot stuff to get Bernie in.
It was funny because so I haven't switched over my license to my new address. So when we went to go register at our polling station, Bryn, my wife, had to vouch for me. And so she had to just do the whole thing because her license was up to date. And I was like skimming over the paperwork that she was reading. And I think the fine if you do that, it's for sure 50 grand, if not, no, there's no way it's 500 grand because that's insane.
That's just jail time.
That's just straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
That's a soundbite that I want.
From Parks and Rec?
Yes.
Overcooked fish. Undercooked chicken? Believe it or not, jail.
Believe it or not, jail.
Jail. Straight to jail.
I thought this was funny. Speed making a tour poster for some upcoming Canadian dates, also known as Western Canada. That's it.
I didn't even notice that. I was like, why is Spencer sending us this? We all know this is already happening. Oh,
yes,
typo. That makes sense.
Canada.
Type O, negative.
I mean, it's just one of those things that's so quick, but I don't think I've ever spelt Canada that way.
Can't say I have.
Canada.
I'm Canadian.
Canadian. This is a very funny cover of a song that is very hard in theory, but has just become that one knocked loose song. But I think what's very funny to me is the this seems like an idea that the one person in the band had, and then everyone else kind of had to just kind of like tag along for the ride.
Oh no.
And the this is my favorite comment. The crowd went mild.
No.
So I think specific people to watch for are this bass player. Well, really the whole band. Get some audio.
I need it. I need the audio. I need to know what's going on.
Need the audio for this one for sure.
Yeah. The hashtags. Holy shit.
It is just chop
Wall of-
master over here. It's
Wall of Death. Metal music. Mosh pit. Heavy music.
Spencer,
Oh.
we can see what the heck is happening.
Brother.
That's all caps slop.
I can't see it.
You still can't see it?
No. Can't see it.
No, it's
Can't see it.
choppy as fuck.
It's not
Okay.
good.
You're not missing much.
I don't believe you.
I don't know why. It's me.
No.
It's 100% you.
I'm gonna open
Here.
it for myself.
No, I'll send it to.
Well, when aren't the tech issues your fault?
Yeah, that is true. Here,
Just kidding.
Quinn, if I send it, no. Can you? Yeah, we
I can
concluded
open it,
that. Yeah. It's in the.
Yeah. I got it.
Okay. They got it.
Give me a second.
I just watched it and it hurt a little bit. Like it's like ooh.
Part of me is curious. Okay, here. We got it queuing up. Pause it. I think they flubbed up the because they're coming straight out of the ching ching ching. So I think he went. It's supposed to have that, I guess, like 2-bar break before the drums come back in, but he just went straight into the vocals, and the drum was like, "Oh fuck, we're doing it this way." But I think
is like any given town in Quebec on a Saturday night. This is the band you will see.
This is the tap house on any given night.
That's exact. I'm thinking like this is like somewhere in this is like Drummondville. This like tomorrow.
So
somebody's uncle's got like a metalcore band cover.
So part of this clip A just being funny, I think part of me thought this song specifically is like the one and only track by Knock Loose that I guess is like not covered by the masses, but is like something that you would see in like a really normie-esque show setting. And it made me kind of reflect, is like, is there certain tracks from obviously bigger metal outfits like Metallica, or even like more core adjacent, like Hatebreed, that are those, like, at what point does a song become one of those things where it can just be covered by kind of anyone and done in a way that's good or very, very bad?
20 years. You got to give it 2 decades.
Well, I think from hardcore standards, I think that there's certain things like that. And I think there's maybe other rules associated, like if the band breaks up, that time frame shortens. I don't think you do it like the day after the band breaks up, but it's probably like more like a couple of years or even 5 instead of
20.
Yeah.
Like you can cover something off of Satisfaction or like Perseverance by Hatebreed. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean those records came out in the 90s.
Yeah,
but,
and that's regardless of since the band is still active.
Yeah, and they still play the songs.
Right.
But you should be able to do it.
So,
Machine
for
Head.
example, Endgame, when we were picking certain covers, we did Davidian. That's a Machine Head song, right?
Yeah, that's a great song.
We've done Hatebreed stuff. We've done a number of different things, but something that we locked, not necessarily locked in, but something within our echelon or like things that I was getting into hardcore music was like the mid 2010s era, where it was coming out of metallic hardcore and like more in that like TUI centric style. So we've done Trapped Under Ice covers, we've done Backtrack covers, and Backtrack still feels like a not
I don't
a
think
sleeper.
I don't know if you can do that.
You don't think we can do that?
No, I don't know. I'll say this. If I saw a band that wasn't like a bunch of children playing in like their first band cover, because there's a band in Montreal, it's their first band, and I've seen them cover Tsunami before. And
okay, but that's
it's like their kids,
I'll let you
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like if I see a band of like grown adults covering like My Darker Half or something like that, or Erase the Rat, like I'll say like if you do it fucking good, then yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. But you better do it good. That's all I'm gonna say. Because if not, you look like cornball. You look bad.
But explain to me.
I've seen bands do TUI before they got back together, and I was like, that's pretty close cut. One of them was from Baltimore, which that's fine.
So that, to me, I'm just trying to understand that, where Backtrack would be cornball to you, but TUI is like, you're just getting away with it.
Well, no, because TUI had broken up. Like they were not playing at all.
Right. Yes. I think doing it now is a little strange because they've like returned and are playing shows again. But I think before then,
I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
Okay, because here's the thing, and I'll put this is I'm gonna push this to maybe make you backtrack a little bit. That is a band that might come and do a one-off reunion something. That's like fingers crossed. That's me being optimistic. But I think in the grand reality of things, none of the members of that band are like, oh, we should do a tour. And maybe I'm going to eat my own words, like looking back at this episode years later when it's like fucking whatever. But all the members of that band are like doing like big deal shit now. So the last thing that they're trying to do is like sing in a band or like play those songs again. It was for the time. Mm-hmm. And I think that they were pivotal, one of the pivotal bands within that wave. Like I think they weren't maybe in the shadows of TUI, but I think when people talk about that era, TUI is the first band that talks about, but then like I think Backtrack has brought equally as many people like into that world. In my opinion,
about the same time, honestly.
So I think that's fair game, personally.
You know, I would never cover either of those bands just because I feel like it's like too close to, it's still like too early. Like if I cover bands, it's usually like I want to cover something that came out like before 2005.
Sure.
Like Death Threat or Matt Ball or like, yeah, something.
Maybe we need
old.
to do like a, and I'm only thinking about this because we're doing a bunch of like yard work right now, and we have all these like stone kind of like tiles for like where our walkway is, and we're moving things around, and I dropped one a little like too crazy, and it like split perfectly down the middle. So it wasn't as bad, but they kind of look like the 10 Commandments, like these two giant stones. So I feel like
bring the tablets.
I think we need to make the 10 Commandments of like
covering a band,
or which we're going to get to a little bit later, the 10 Commandments for taking photos or video at a show, because some of this Pigpen stuff is
God help me,
pretty funny. Before we get into that, Quinn, can you pull up that Bleed intro? Just because I love this video.
This band is good.
I need this at full max volume.
Max volume.
Have you ever just been able to go 0 to 100?
That I'm telling you, this band is insane.
That's crazy.
I need to see it again. It's just so how self-aware they are of just like, oh, we just start with nothing and then just go straight in. Bro, that's insane.
I love Meshuggah.
That's pretty wild, yeah.
That's one of the heaviest things I think I've ever witnessed. It's like sonically nothing, and then it's just like it's literally.
Yeah, but there's no missile drop. It's like literally like you step on a landmine and you're just
there's no lead up.
Blown to bits.
It's just
it's
like getting hit by a car.
Very much is. So we talked about Mr. Matheson, the man that makes good food and now good hardcore music. How they were playing their first show, and I think it was on either the same day as the Captain show that it was happening in Edmonton. Because I ran into Jacob from New Damage. He came in for the show, and I was like, "Oh, did you go to that Pigpen show?" I was like, "No, it was last night." Oh, so I guess it was Friday. Shout out to Jacob.
Yeah.
And the virality of some of these videos and how I guess things happened at the show was quite interesting. And I think it kind of sparked that classic debate within the hardcore world where it's like photographers or people with cameras are just very not self-aware and they block the experience and blah blah blah. Before I play it, I'll just say I think I am on both sides of this conversation, where there is absolutely a lot of liberties that are taken by people on a, not even just like a because this happened in Toronto. I'm not trying to cherry pick those people. But I think if you had to net review all of that, I think that there's a lot of liberties that are taken. That being said, I think there's nuances to a lot of that. And at the end of the day, a lot of things within like DIY culture really wouldn't be as sick as they are without having the photos and the video. Like, I had an epiphany that like most, like a lot of band shirts, a lot of posters, a lot of just ways that people see something of a band and they're like, oh, like that's a cool live photo or that's a cool live experience. Like, you might hear those stories, but seeing those things now are equally as a great way for someone to get introduced to a band. Like, I've literally checked out a band because the singer was wearing like a varsity jacket that said Beans on the back. And I'm like, what the fuck is this about? And then you just go down the rabbit hole.
Beans.
Beans. Just,
what band was
like
this?
Beans.
Jive Bomb, ironically.
Ironically.
I don't know, ironically, but it's yeah.
New
Before the
Records
band
New Records got choices. New Records. It's a choice.
Got choices?
They made some choices. We don't have to get into it.
I'm gonna play this now.
It's my new favorite way. So,
I'm gonna keep my opinions.
There's a lot of photographers there.
I'm gonna keep my opinions in check. I'm gonna be quiet a little bit on this.
No. This is a safe space, Grayson, to share what your thoughts are.
I am a huge Maddie Matheson fan, and I like Alexis on Fire. I would like to hear a recorded record from them. I'll just say that.
That is also my opinion. I
This is maybe not the best first representation for me of what this band is. And also, I saw some clips of the pit, and it looks like a bunch of normies.
So,
like, I know a lot of Toronto people. And I don't recognize many of these people.
I can't imagine what it's like for someone like Maddie Matheson, who is. Where would you place him on the letter alphabet of, like, would you say he's a C-list celebrity? Is he like A-list was like household names like Taylor Swift?
I think he was C-list before the Bear, and now I think he's B-list.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I feel like that's I would maybe place him a little bit lower, but I think after the Bear, I think he's a little, like, I would place him in B or C. Like B.
Like, he's friends with
minus.
Jeremy Allen White. Jeremy Allen White, I would say, is approaching A-list celebrity between being on Shameless and the Bear.
Well, I didn't know who, like I'm one of those people who didn't know who Maddie Matheson was until watching the Bear, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess the point I'm making is, I don't know what it's like for him to finally do a band, and then play, inarguably, like this is not a, like, there's no, like, big Vice or whatever, like, backing behind, like, making it a big. This is looking pretty cut and dry DIY, and to have no barricade and just have people come as they will. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are standing right up front that have no idea what hardcore music is, but they love Maddie, and they're just like, That being said, so I think it kind of.
I mean, it is a Not Dead Yet gig, though.
I saw, like, the only people that I know who were there were, like, other photographers, and so I saw, I don't know if you guys know who Riley is, Larva Lungs, his photos of the night. They came out really cool.
So when you were asking me about the photographer cap on those Toronto shows, and they weren't even in Toronto, this is why we do that now. Like, this is why promoters are being like, check in before the show to make sure that we're not over, because local shows have been like this.
Yeah, there was 4 cameras, and then this guy with his phone.
And then there's even videographers on the side that I saw.
Yeah, people we can't see are gonna be there too. Yeah.
So at a certain point, it's like, I'm not here to watch a dude take photos of a band. Like,
unless it's like a big show, I tend to be really the only one. Maybe there's 2 other people with their cameras, but there's not usually more than 2 people with cameras at a show. Although the show I'm going to tomorrow, I do expect to see quite a few people, but that's like the indie scene is more popular with like real love and stuff in Winnipeg in terms of wanting to capture those moments versus like the hardcore side of things in Winnipeg. I'm like the only, and if it's a hardcore show that isn't like a big name, I'm the only one there photographing it. Like with Eyes Front, I was the only one there photographing it.
Oh wow.
So here's my grievance. I also know that I wasn't gonna really say Riley specifically, but like I've shot alongside with Riley. He is a very talented photographer and a very like considerate photographer as well. So he's very much like he's not trying to be within the limelight. And I'll also say it's in every venue, it's always going to be a different situation as to like what's the best way that I can get my shots. But I think you have to also ask yourself the same thing of like, how can I not be a fucking distraction to the other people? And when I was filming, or the band, and I was being very intentional about that as much as I could when I was filming actively, where I was just trying to be a fly on the wall. And if that mean I took a worse composition, so a not as ideal area for me to stand and capture the show, and if it meant I'm fucking human tripoding for the entirety of the night, that's just, it is what it is. I think the biggest sin that I have is when it's people who are right up at the front and who are kind of like not even like, because this has a stage, like the rest of the band is elevated, but not by a ton. I don't know.
It's not very tall at all. It
like
maybe comes up
stage.
to your knees or something. Yeah.
So it's not even one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm gonna like lean down and then, and obviously there's no photo pit or any of that kind of nonsense. But I think the way to avoid this, kind of what you were saying, Grayson, is to have a cap and enforce what areas the people with cameras who are doing that like are good and not good.
So I have another take on that because I work for a larger promoter in town.
Please.
And usually I'm gonna wait for the fucking thumb to go away. So on our guest list, like we basically have guest lists like in a spreadsheet before the show that we can fill out and print and hand to the door person. And on that, we have a spot for any press that's coming, and we have a cap on photo passes because we've had circumstances where it was way too many people. But then on top of that, usually the tour or the band will say, like you can only shoot 3 songs, and I'm sure that y'all have experienced this. Is 3 songs, or first 3 songs, no flash. Is usually like the rule of thumb. And I know that like Sneaky D's is fucking Sneaky D's. Like it's not fucking like Olympia of Montreal, you know what I mean? But like
Sneaky D's is like in Winnipeg's equivalent would be like the Handsome Daughter.
It's like a farty dirt patch venue. It's like look at, it's not even as big as Foofs, and Foofs is like kind of our CBGBs. Anyway, but the fact that this is a Not Dead Yet show, that's basically the equivalent of the venue, I mean, of the promoter that I work for. And so I feel like they should be able to be like, yo, like 3 songs, no flash, obviously, because this is a tiny ass venue, and then get the fuck out of the way. But I think photographers took advantage, I'll be honest, of not having that rule.
Absolutely, because I know that I do too. Like the Comeback Kid, like showing off my photos the first night, we didn't like, there was no rules enforced like that. It was, do whatever the fuck you want. And there was only 3 photographers there that night, surprisingly. But yeah, I was like up in front for as long as I could physically survive before I'm like, I'm gonna get crowd killed. I gotta move out of the way. There are shows where I will take advantage of that, and, like, I had my flash on. If you saw the photos, you could tell there was obviously flash for that one. But the next show at the Burt, can't do that. Can't do any of that I was doing. So because I knew I was seeing them at the Burt and taking photos of them at the Burt, I took advantage while I could from the day before. But, of course, not everybody's gonna be able to do that.
So I think I was just gonna say something. Oh, so Grayson, you mentioned the whole especially for like bigger shows and bigger venues, it's you get to shoot 3 songs and then fuck off.
Usually it's 3 songs from the pit specifically, and you can take photos
like from the crowd and stuff. Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, for the audience.
Well, yeah. So I guess like because when I was doing this, it was all video. Anytime that was expressed to me, it was always like, oh, well, I'm actually doing video and I'm doing like full sets. And either what I would need to do to kind of like, I guess, override that rule that's kind of set by the venue is just getting confirmation from all the bands that they were cool with me doing that.
That's usually what you go to the tour manager if it's like a bigger tour, or you just go to each band and be like, this is cool. And then, which is what I would usually do, like working for the promoter. Yeah. But in this case, I think somebody screwed the pooch, as Maddie would actually probably say. And he screwed the pooch. And did not make this rule, and then did not enforce this rule. If I would have been faced with like 27 photographers all shooting at me for the entire set with flash, I probably would have kicked some of them. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you think they thought about it? Do you think this was like the band? Do you think this was something that like crossed their mind, or like the promoter or anything?
The band for sure.
Well, like, it wasn't like this for the other bands by any means.
Yeah, no, like Pluto's Kiss didn't have 7 photographers up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's a good band.
It's true.
Who was the other band? Best Wishes?
Best Wishes.
Fucking love that band. That band's been around forever.
I think, again, this is maybe a 10 Commandments episode. I'll have to get a fucking like Jesus robe for that bit.
That's crazy. There's a white Jesus.
I'm here for it.
White Jesus.
He fits our European perception of Jesus.
So here's the thing. I think a lot of these kind of situations could be resolved if people who are running the show are like setting a higher emphasis on those things. Because a lot of the time it's like, I think certain promoters probably have preferences on how many people have photographers, but to their credit, they're running a million, like they have a million other things that they're trying to like make sure doesn't catch on fire, especially day of the show. My best friend and bandmate booked shows for us, and he is just like a stress ball the entire time. And the last thing that I try to do is like ask him of anything. But at the same time, I think photographers or people that are trying to, whether they're doing it for the love of the game or maybe they are doing it professionally or whatever it is, they need to just emphasize and try to like communicate off of like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to understand the parameters and be okay. And this is the most important part, which I know a lot of people, this will seem very impossible to do, but be okay with being told no and being respectful to being like, it's just not my gig to do this. And that's okay. There's going to be 1,000 other gigs to do that. Yes, it won't be the fucking first time Maddie Matheson is doing it, but I very much have learned.
So I don't know how that happened.
Damn.
I'm so sorry.
Maddie was speaking to me directly. I very much have learned in the aspect of like retiring and putting down the camera that it really is nice to kind of just be in the moment. Are there shows that I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I would have done that? Yes, but I think there's like this it now is very much in the standard where there's a lot of dogpiling that happens, where one video goes viral of a bunch of too many photographers, and then it's like people like get their typing fingers ready because they have their opinion. And I understand, and I think there's a way to get through that, and it will have to be. It'll have to come down to these commandments that we'll have to carve. I feel like that's a next episode thing when we do more Tony Hawk stuff, but we'll get some divine intervention.
My favorite's when I'm on stage and there's so many photographers that I can't move around. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, absolute favorite thing.
Love it so much. And then I get the photos back and they're shit. Which I know is not the case for y'all, so I don't have a problem saying that. It's just I've experienced this. Is like, do not send me shit photos of the band that you shot and got in the way of on stage.
So
I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
Well, like again, I have to. I feel like I'm going to bat for both sides, and it feels a little like
you're
I know.
Here's the thing. I have taken terrible videos of bands in the early days of Scoped Exposure, but doing those terrible videos made me like learn and actually be able to make good videos. Are there people who are going to take shitty photos for years and never improve? Unfortunately, yes. But I feel like the norm is people who are doing that, especially in a pursuit of giving back to their scene. I think the norm is that they get better and then they become a staple person. And whether or not they turn that into career is neither here nor there.
I think the notion of gear doesn't matter has to go away, because I think it matters way more than you think. And like, it matters to a sense where you really only need one good lens, but you're not going to get anything with a kit lens at a concert on like a T5i. I lived that life. That life is not very good.
We're getting into some nice takes right now. I'm really liking this. This is it's like the band that rolls in with the fucking crate head. It's like, you know what the band sounds like.
But it also, again, a lot of it's going to depend on what you do. If you're doing portraits, you can do that with any gear. Absolutely any gear, you can take a good portrait. I know some people are going to say things about that, but when it comes to something like a concert photography, you need to be dialed in. You need to be dialed in with what you're bringing.
Well, like, you got to know like what kind of compositions you want first of all, and then you need to know how to anticipate when that composition is going to like be there. Like, you need to kind of know the music and the flow of the music.
There have been plenty of bands that I've photographed. I have no idea who they were. Fit for a King. I haven't listened to a single song of theirs. The first time I saw them, I got incredible photos.
Yeah, but it's like metalcore. Like, you know, they're gonna do the hair and the stuff. You know, the hair and the stuff.
Grayson's
I haven't even
definition
tonight. This is crazy.
The hair and the stuff.
The hair and the stuff.
You know, the hair and the stuff.
I'll shout out someone who I think is very good at being self-aware, and I think is very much like me. Is they understand both sides of it. So a very talented photographer out in Vancouver. His name is Evrinder. He's been on the Scoped Exposure podcast before, and he also plays guitar in a very sick band called Poison Seeds. They're actually going to be one of the bands that's opening up for the Vancouver Speed Show that's happening in a couple weeks from now. He is, sick with the riffs, but on the photo side, he is someone who is so well-versed enough to be like, okay, this is the type of show setting that I'm shooting, and this is my access. So for example, like, he might go to a really more DIY show that's very intimate and small, and he might be shooting with like a wider angle lens to kind of capture the madness and all those things. But a couple of years ago, I remember he got a photo pass to This Is Hardcore, which, again, bigger scale hardcore event. Everybody and their mother in Philadelphia is trying to get a photo pass to shoot alongside, people who are on stage or whatever. But what he did is that anytime that he was shooting a band, instead of trying to get as close as possible with that wide angle lens, he switched to more of like a zoom lens and I think he had like a 70 to 200, and he was just doing stuff from way back in the room to in the balcony. And to me, I feel like that's someone who's just being aware of like where you are in the room of things. It's like, okay, I'm an outsider. I'm someone from Canada who's at this festival and has been granted the opportunity to do that. I'm not going to fight to be standing right beside Sunny, Like I'm going to do this, and I'm going to and almost challenge myself to see what are the types of things that I can get. And I think a lot of people on the photography side are very much like with Peace and Love, like one trick ponies, and they only do one thing. And I really think if we're going to have more harmony, like you got to be aware of the setting and how that could be distracting to other showgoers, if not the band themselves, but also just try to find a different way to do your thing. And this section was not planned to be kind of dovetailing right with me filming a show, but maybe I'm going to get called out with having bad show etiquette with my camera. But I feel like
those compositions.
I have a story actually that's related to this that I just remembered about. So I was shooting my friend's band, right? It's like a folk country type of thing, whatever. And she was paying me to shoot it for her. I go and I shoot photos, and I do what I do for shows like that, where it's like not a lot of people are standing in the crowd. Everyone's sitting down. It's at like, a bowling alley, so there's not really like a big stage. It's not the St. James Lanes, which where Eyes Front were. It's a different bowling alley. But anyways, so everyone was like sitting down in like the booths and like whatever, and then there is like a floor space or whatever. But I was sitting there taking photos, and then I would like kind of try and get out of my way as much as I can, but everyone's sitting, so it's like awkward. My friend's mom, who was there, said, "Quinn, you're in everybody's way. Sit down." Like, I'm getting paid to get these photos, and you're just if you have a like, no offense, but there's not really anywhere where I can stand where I wouldn't be in someone's way. And this is just the situation of the venue. It's like, if you really wanted to see, why wouldn't you just stand up?
That too.
These commandments need to be carved.
It wasn't a hardcore show where you just get crowd killed if you're in everyone's way.
It wasn't a hardcore show, and if it was a hardcore show, no one would say that to me. Absolutely no one.
You're in everyone's way. Okay.
So,
it was just like such an out of pocket thing to say when I'm trying to take photos.
Yes. Like, I very much like to watch. There's someone on my reels where he's an Australian wedding photographer, and he has a 360 camera on top of his his main camera, so he kind of films the behind the scenes. And his challenges are people who are using their phones at a wedding, trying to get their own little video, and then he's got to be like, "You're in all of the photos," or "You're doing this," and but yeah, I think the music world is very interesting, but I will commit to, as God is my witness, the 10 commandments of taking photos and videos at shows will be written, and you will uphold to them. Don't get me, I need some angelic, like, oh.
That's close enough.
There you go.
Could you imagine you die and you get to heaven and that's what plays before God comes down and lets you know if you're coming in or not?
Listen, you won't be walking through those pearly gates. You will be boogieing.
Yes, bro. God, what the fuck is up? Okay. So, main story. Calling All Captains, hometown show. For those that don't know, Calling All Captains, pop punk band from Edmonton.
Do they sing that song? Do they have that song where it's like, "Hey dudes, are you ready to?"
No.
Yeah, I thought that was that
That's
band.
another pop punk band with a bunch of C's, but different part of the world.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, they're from
That
Quebec.
song is fire though. Let's not get that.
That's a good
mixed up.
song. Yeah.
It has I love the 10-hour loop of him just saying, "Hey dudes, are you ready to?" I send that to my friends sometimes.
Well, that's
"Hey dudes, are you ready to?" Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. "Hey dudes, are you
So-
ready to?"
Captains again played at Union Hall, 1,000 cap venue, sold that motherfucker out. To my knowledge, like when you're in production, you can kind of like hear the murmurs of like other things that are being said in like the green room, like with management or whatever. And they were just kind of mentioning that how like Union Hall has had full international like huge artists that have played there and never gone past 850. So that was a pretty wild situation for a band that, you know, is just from there and has kind of amassed a very loyal and local fan base. So
There you go.
claps are in order.
I debated getting tickets and going, but I just couldn't justify it with travel costs.
It is a lot. So my buddy Alan, who will be calling in a little bit, he reached out to me to help film as they were trying to really make it a ginormous production. So we had, and I'll let Alan get into some of the details when he hops on. But yeah, we had a ton of things going. I think we had honestly like maybe one of the best video crews in all of Southern Alberta because it was myself, Alan, my homie Jamie, who goes by his. Let me pull up his Instagram real quick.
Yeah, when you posted that photo of Jamie on your story, it was like, "Yo, what's up?" I didn't know he was gonna be there.
Jamie's like someone who is really made a name for himself. He's very, very talented in what he does.
Funny story about Jamie. I saw him at Comeback Kid at the Burt, right? And
because he was on tour with Trench, right?
Yeah. And I recognized him, but I couldn't figure out if I followed him on Instagram or what. I looked it up after he posted his photos the next day, and he did. I was like, I should have said hi to him. I should have gone up to him and said hi. But I'm really bad at like remembering people's names, especially if I just see them on social media and hit follow one time. But yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull it up here. I'm just trying to also pull up my other boy here, but Hispanic Panic 28 and Aaron James photos were the two other fine folks who I was working alongside. And then this is in association with there was a couple other photographers at the show as well. My buddy Matt Campbell, he's shot Endgame, and I've shot alongside him multiple times. He lives out in like rural BC.
Matt was on tour with them last time they were on tour as well.
Yes. So the first story, there's a few stories that I want to share from this show. The first being, I found a Pokemon fan within the heavy music world that makes me feel like a normie. And I'll explain why. And I'm pulling up a live shot of him because we have a video.
What's Pokemon?
It's like Digimon but better.
I don't know. Digimon's sick.
Honestly,
I can't even name a single Digimon.
Is it like
Agumon?
No.
It's not like Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, it's not. Okay, so
No, Yu-Gi-Oh is more adjacent to Bakugan.
Oh, Bakugan.
I forgot that Bakugan is. I thought Bakugan was just which is a Digimon name. Anyway, so let me introduce you to Colton. Very nice guy. Plays for a band from Vancouver called Opal in Sky. With Peace and Love, I wasn't really big into their music, but I am big into him. So, tell me what you see all over this man's arm.
Shiny Pokemon.
Yes.
Oh, those are Pokemon?
So when he first came into the room, I saw kind of a very prominent, like, top of the arm Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
And it just because it was just like very quick him walking, I was like, oh, that's a weird color choice for Bulbasaur. And then I looked, and then I was like, wait, all of this man's Pokemon tattoos are like the shiny form. And then I'm like, that's a lot of commitment to a very niche thing. So then we start talking, and he's like, oh, so I have all the tattoos I have are of shiny Pokemon that I've caught. So for those that don't know, a shiny Pokemon is essentially within the game. There's a, like, it varies from game to game, but there's a 1 in there's a 1 in 8,000 chance that you'll get a shiny form, which is just a different color variation. So a lot of people who are huge fans of this game, they do shiny hunting, and there's a bunch of different ways to do it from game to game, but it cued in on me. I was like, wait, so you hunt for a certain Pokemon, you get the shiny, and then you go and get that shiny form tattooed on you. He's like, yes. So I was like, so you've caught all these Pokemon, you have these in a specific game. And he said, yes. I'm like, and this man it's not just his left arm. It's both fucking sleeves.
It's the shiny chance is 1 out of 8,122. I think
that's a lot of
insane
time in a game.
And obviously that's not like, oh, it's up to. So, you might, but like,
oh, 90.
I love Pokemon,
92.
But if I sat and just was soft resetting my game for like to get a shiny Bulbasaur as your starter, that is patience that I am not built for. So
the newer games, I think starting in Sword and Shield, they halved it.
Still, that's
possibly
still
sooner
insane.
than that, but yeah, absolutely.
So I'm tripping, and everyone else is just like, oh, that's cool. But I was like, no, you don't understand how insane that is. So then I asked him, because
you don't even know.
No, you don't. They don't. So I haven't done any shiny hunting, but in my multiple years of playing Pokemon, if not over a decade at this point, because I'm a Pokemon Yellow, like, from back in the day. I've run into a shiny Pokemon. They call it full odds, so it's not like intentionally like trying to like find that, Trevenant or Miltank or Dratini, and it's just you run into the wild and boom, there it is, and you're like, what the fuck? And you can't like save your game mid-battle, obviously, so it's just like you just hope and pray that you could catch it. I think the last shiny I got was a Seal. And Dewgong's like the full evolution. It's not even that much of a difference. It's like it's less blue. But anyways, that doesn't matter. So I asked him, are any of the shiny Pokemon that are tattooed on you a full odds shiny, like it wasn't pre-planned or anything like that? And he told me, so he said, you see this little guy in the ditch I can't zoom in anymore, but can you
that
see?
Gengar?
Yes. So he said he was doing a run through of Sun and Moon, which is one of the DS or 3DS games. He mentioned that so there's a mechanic in that game, or there's a battle mechanic called SOS. So sometimes in a battle, you'll be battling a wild Pokemon, and then it will SOS call out like a random Pokemon into the battle to make it like a 2-on-1 scenario. 99% of the time, it's the same type of Pokemon or like within the evolution line. But he said he was shiny hunting for a Haunter, which is, again, already the odds are super crazy. But then it called in the evolved version, which is a Gengar, which he said is a 0.1% chance. So you take 0.1% chance plus the shiny odds. It's like literally the and the fact that this guy is probably going to get a tattoo of it. That is like one of the most like Quinn, when you edit the reel, it's the fucking mathematics like overlay.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That shit is insane to me. And I know that we're losing listeners at this point of me just going all in on this, but I need to give credit where it's due, because Colton is he wants to be the very best.
No, and I'm a huge Pokemon fan too. I have a Larvitar tattoo because he's my little boy. But the first time I did a playthrough of Scarlet and Violet, which I have the Scarlet version, within the first little like wild area that you run into, I found a shiny Oinklage or whatever his name is, the little pig that's new in that game.
Oh.
Full odds, just out in the wild.
Yeah, it's such a surprise and delight. But I'll cap myself there, because I feel that I've exhausted this.
I have nothing to add to this.
Grayson.
I'm so sorry. I played Pokemon Go for 3 months. That's it.
That's okay.
Do you have a favorite Pokemon, Grayson? Of any that you can remember?
Yeah. I remember playing Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I used to like using Mewtwo.
It's a good choice.
But then I also remember when I was in first grade, my dad took me and my best friend to the movie theater when that Pokemon movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one where they introduced Mewtwo. And so maybe it's
Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Well, I think it's just because that's like when I actually was doing Pokemon was first grade.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember that one. It's kind of like a core memory. So
there's one of the most beautiful quotes that is said by Mewtwo in that movie.
What is?
It is not. Hold on, I need to pull it up word for word. It's about it's kind of like the purpose of life.
It's deep.
But again, said by oh, here it is. I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are. And this is said when it's fucking regular version of a Pokemon, and then all his like evil clones like battling each other, and it's like this fucking emotional, like, because you see like regular Pikachu and then evil Pikachu is like slapping him, and then he's just like standing there taking it because he doesn't want to fight back, and it's like, oh, it's so emotional. Anyways,
I want to show you
Pokemon
guys
podcast, but
I want to pull this up quickly just because you asked Grayson what his favorite Pokemon was, and it reminded me of this. So I don't know if you guys have heard about this, or if Spencer has, but there was a survey that was done 6 years ago on like trying to see if every Pokemon was someone's favorite, and it came back with, after 520,000 responses, there was 4 Pokemon that were left with no favorites.
Wait, which
Silcoon.
ones?
That's
Silcoon.
52,000.
Is it? Oh, you're so
Yeah.
right. 52,000. Sorry. That's quite the
Okay.
difference. But
Still a lot.
Silcoon, Gothita, but Gothita's evolutions had favorites.
Gothita's the middle stage one, right?
Oh, maybe you're right. I think
that's a 3-stage evolution. But
no,
I
it's
agree.
It's the first one. It's Gothita, Gotharita, and then whatever the last
baby
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the baby one. Electric, which is I think the electric eel. Yeah. And then Young Goose.
I fully believe that no one likes Young Goose because wait. Is that the
That's the one that looks like Trump,
the first
yeah.
Oh, it is the fully evolved one that looks like Trump.
No, it's the first evolution. The baby one, but it still looks like Trump, you know.
Well,
so people like the evolution that looks more like Trump. That's
yes.
alarming.
Then the
I
first
guess that
evolution.
makes sense. I
That's
guess
weird.
So. Silcoon, that is literally just a web ball that has eyes.
But Cascoon has a favorite.
But Cascoon's like the more mean-looking one.
Yes, correct. It's the one that evolves into Dustox, where Silcoon is the one that evolves into Beautifly.
Yes.
Anyways, sorry, that was a little bit
That's
of a
fine.
rabbit hole.
Hi, Alan.
Hi, Alan.
Oh, how we doing?
I thought I would let you in in the middle of our. we got slightly off topic talking
Favorite
about Pokemon
discussion,
but only because Colton from Opal and Sky had all the Pokemon tattoos, and we were just on one talking about that.
Yeah, it seemed like when we were in the room, you could have talked to that guy for hours.
Spencer and I, between the two of us, could have an entire 3-hour episode that's just about Pokemon.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It's just too.
Y'all can do that on my sick day.
Yeah, Grayson's like, delete me from this conversation. Thanks for joining us, Alan. I'm stoked to talk about some of this stuff. I think I want to move past. Well, just very quick, and then we're gonna chat about some of the production stuff about the show. But I just want to quickly flex. Grayson talked last episode about making backgrounds for bands within 30 minutes on Canva, and I did the same, but with even less time. So this is the background that False Body played in front of. Give me 1 second. Literally, it was I was like, "What are you guys gonna put on the screen?" And then it was "Oh, we can do something." I was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "What do you want? I'll make something for you right now." And this is what I made. But classic, my computer is just taking forever to. Oh, there, it's finally going. This is Michelle and Lee's cat.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
is it a video,
I think it's good.
Yeah, there's some.
Is that what was up there? I never went out and watched them. I just listened from the back. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Is it a video?
We do. Yeah, I do have a video. It is on the media side. Here. Well, as I'm pulling that up, and I feel like this is actually relevant. Alan, you also had a last minute video situation when you were running to the.
Yeah, we gave the guy, I think, a Dropbox link earlier in the day, thinking yeah, this is under control. He's like, we're like, you can get this downloaded in time. He's like, no problem. And then we were literally about to start waiting for our video to come on, and the guy said down the line from when I was I can't get it to work. Didn't download on time. And I had spent so much time the night before. Not even so much time. I guess it was I stayed up until 2:30 in the morning getting that done. It was the last thing I needed to do for the show. And I was not about to play without that video behind us. So I was like, give me 2 minutes. And I ran to the other side.
You were on stage
front
at
of
this
house.
point, and it
I
was
was on
like,
stage with my guitar on, ready to go. I was like, no. I run in slow motion to front of house with my hard drive in hand. I'm like, here it is. It's in a file called Gutter King Video Wall. And as I'm like up there, the manager that like manager for Congo Captain, he's like, there's no time, Alan, get the hell on stage. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I run in slow motion back on the stage, and I get on get on stage. I'm like, hey guys, like, we're just gonna have to go for it. And if he gets it at some point during our set, sick. If not, like, we gave it our best shot.
yeah.
We did our like chant, and as soon as it said like go, the video came up and it was on for the whole show. So
Nice, good timing.
That's
it worked
sick.
out great.
Yeah, it really would have. You guys had maybe, I wouldn't say equally, like, how do I say this? I think the set that you guys had was like borderline like show stealing esque to how crazy it was. Like, I think Colorado Captains had like obviously hometown advantage, and I feel like there was a crescendo throughout the night, and they also had like multiple backgrounds. They had the fucking confetti cannons, but I feel like y'all brought like you guys were like the zookeepers, and all the cages opened, and then you guys were like hitting the cages like, all right, time to wake up. And people woke up and got crazy for it. So so speaking of that, because I am struggling to pull this video up, we can just kind of move past it. I will pull up we'll make sure that we show it in a clip, Quinn. But Alan, for the folks that don't know who you are, can you just give a quick my name is Alan, and this is what I do when it comes to music, as well as, photo and video content things.
Sure. My name's Alan Bremner. I am a photographer and videographer, sometimes touring photographer and videographer. I have a band called Gutter King that I play guitar in. I like to shoot shows. I like to go to shows. I like to play shows. That's pretty much it. I like to keep it simple.
Spencer?
That is not simple. What?
Spencer, can you stop sharing your screen?
Honestly, I can't turn it off, so I think someone else has to overtake it, and then Wait, you don't want this? Oh, you know what? No. Well, okay, overtake it, but I did say that I would change my background in solidarity, because I think this background is just too sick not to overutilize. So anyways, can you not turn off this share?
Hold on.
Okay, you figure that out. So
no,
Alan,
I think it's just you.
Oh, it is just me? All right. Well, that won't be in the edit.
No, but it's fucking up my computer a little bit. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's saying... Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay, don't worry about it. Sorry for the intro.
Sorry. Sometimes we just run on these, like, ADHD, taking control. Anyways, so Alan and I go way, way back, and I think there has always been a common connection, I think, because of our shared experience on being band music person, as well as content, like, gotta do all the things, not only for the band, but, those efforts are kind of shared to other people. And Alan has gone to lengths of touring and doing this content, not only for his own bands, but doing it for, like, some pretty big names. I know you've gone on tour with Beartooth a number of times throughout the years, as well as Motionless in White as well.
What?
Am I saying that right? Motionless in White.
Motionless in White. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I was getting
the words
tripped up
aren't
there.
wording.
Is there any other key bands that I'm blanking on here, Alan?
Those are the two biggest bands that I went out with. While I was out with those bands, I worked with some of the other bands on the tours that I was like already out on. Alpha Wolf, After the Burial, Kim Dracula would be the other notable ones.
Okay.
Sick.
And I guess like in the midst of all of that, like, do you prefer just to have it where you can only focus on one, like, where you're like, oh, you get to just kind of watch other musicians kind of do your thing, or do their thing, sorry? Or is there an aspect where you're like, man, I love the chaos of like having to do like all the production stuff that you did at this past Captain show, as well as getting to partake in the show itself? Because it is a big undertaking. And I was like, you're a little crazy in the head to do it as much as you have. But I'm just kind of curious on the stamina side of all of that for those that maybe don't know.
Yeah, I think I probably perform better if I have one thing to focus on. But throughout all of my touring, especially on those bigger tours, I would always think like, man, like I wish I was playing. Like it'd be so sick to like be one of four to play and then work for the headliner or something. And this past weekend was one of the first times I got to do that. I guess we just did a tour with Congo Captains, but it was just like photos. But the undertaking that we took on Saturday in Edmonton with multicams, like 5 total shooters, a couple like tripod shots, and just trying to coordinate a project that big alongside my band's like biggest show, and it was like Congo Captain's like big hometown show. It wasn't just like any old gig. It felt like pretty big and important for everyone, so the stress was on. So I think maybe we took that concept of playing and working at the same show to like the next level, like of unnecessary stress, where maybe it was like, okay, maybe I'd be better off to just have done one or the other. But at the same time, I do love some chaos. I do love, running around with my head cut off, as, healthy or unhealthy that may be for my mental state. It's fun. So, I don't know. I like it.
Kind of unintentionally like these two segments as far as talking about the Captain show, and then just before you hopped on, we were talking about there's I'm sure you know who Matty Matheson is.
Yeah, he's that chef.
Yes, yeah.
Actor,
so
something.
He well, both. Yeah. So both are correct. But he comes from the hardcore world, and I guess over many years has finally started a band, and they had their first show the day before the Captain show, so on Friday. And a lot of videos went viral because it's in a very tight, Quinn, what would you say capacity at Sneaky D's is?
I don't know why you're asking me. But
well, you talk about Sneaky D's like you live, next door to it.
You live upstairs.
I'm in Winnipeg. I'm not even close.
I know, that's why I'm just like
Sneaky D's than I am. But
I've never set foot in Sneaky D's.
That's crazy.
We play real venues.
Whoa, hold on.
I'm just kidding.
Probably 200.
It looks like 200.
I feel like that's appropriate.
If side stage is 200, it looks about the same size as that. So I would say.
Oh, I was like, Sneaky D's has a side stage, but you're talking about the venue.
The venue side stage in Winnipeg. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, yeah. Anyways, it's a very small venue, but they had there was a row of photographers essentially standing right at the front of the stage, cameras as high as you can imagine, and kind of it went viral because a lot of people who are within hardcore, they see someone with a camera, and if it's ruining their experience, they have something to say. Obviously, this show is a lot more different because you're hired by captains to run this whole production. But I know that you've played more like hardcore derivative types of shows. So I'm curious on when you were planning.
His audio just cut out, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I
straight
lost
up.
you
Yeah.
there.
He stopped.
Did you
making
hit your
sound.
Your
mic?
audio straight cut out. It's muted
now?
now. Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
Yeah.
go.
Okay. So I'm not sure where I cut off there, but I was saying in production as well as deciding on site where, I would stand versus some other people. Like what was kind of the mindset to kind of set things up so it wasn't as like, as much the photographers are in everyone's way? Or did that even cross your mind?
I think for this show in particular, it didn't really cross my mind since I knew the venue like has like a balcony, and even right in the photo pit, like I know the stage was raised high enough where you kind of you get more clearance over like that photographer raising their arm up, where I know Sneaky D's, like I feel like that stage is only like a foot off the ground, where
Right.
that could be a much bigger problem. So I think it just worked in our favor where this venue wouldn't really suffer as much from that, but this at the same time I did probably consider that a little bit. But I think it just worked out, even if I didn't consider the audience perspective at all. I think I would have landed on the same like stations for everyone.
Right. And this is also a show that Captain's very heavily marketed, like, we are filming this is a big production, and we want it to be like, that's happening,
Yeah. I don't think there's any surprises from anybody in there.
Mm-hmm. So let's get a little just technical. So when for like thinking about like diversity of shots, and I don't know if you have anything that that either you want to showcase or if you want to keep that behind the cloak as far as editing everything together, but what kind of went into your decision making off of like what types of like angles and lenses to use, as well as who on our crew would stand and do what specifically?
Yeah, I feel like going back on our history, just remembering the times that I shot for scoped exposure alongside you, I kind of started with that as my starting point for how I was going to like approach this. And I liked having one person on stage left, one person on stage right, whether they're on stage or in the photo pit, but having those kind of two angles be like a big focus. I liked how, at least when we were shooting for scoped, it kind of felt like those camera angles were mimicking what someone that was actually standing there, what they would be looking at. I like to think of it as like a curious camera shot where if something's happening over there, that camera can freely like look over there and zoom in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that's, that crowd surfer's down, you can look back at stage. So I definitely wanted to have that kind of feel for this type of production, I guess. But at the same time, outside of that, this is Captain's biggest show, biggest hometown show. Every week we were getting the ticket counts and it was just getting bigger and bigger. So I didn't want to miss out on the scale of the show, and having the band play a venue that looked like this with like the balcony, I wanted to make sure we use that to our advantage as well. So I put someone up on the balcony, Aaron, shout out Aaron, and I made him shoot wide so we could see the stage and the people. Drum cam, of course, had a tripod with a camera up at front of house, shooting wide to see everything. Another thing the Captains was doing in this show They had their manager, who's also a lighting director, Cam, program the whole show. So it was another big thing to showcase is the production of everything, because I don't even know how many thousands of dollars they spent on light rentals. I know.
Didn't they say they rented too many?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they both said they rented too many and also not enough. So I think it depends on how you look at it.
It's always the case.
But I knew Cam would be upset with me if at the end of this there was no nice wide shot to show off the beautiful light show that he programmed. So I made sure to do a nice wide one at front of house to capture all of that. And then I also had a guy named Sam with a 70 to 200 at front of house right next to that tripod to get super close to the people on stage. And Jamie was on stage left back a bit so you could shoot through the crowd to kind of like split the difference of seeing that there's lots of people and also focusing on the band as well.
So I'm just trying to do the quick maths here, but I guess would that be 7 or 8 angles in total?
That's you, me, Aaron, Jamie, Sam, 5 people. Front of
one
house,
tripod,
drum.
Drum cam. That's the one I'm forgetting about.
Yeah. Then your GoPro and 360 cam. So what? That's 9.
Damn,
that's crazy.
Reminds me of like church. When I was working for a mega church, we were running like 8 camera shots.
How do you edit all that together?
I don't know. Spencer, you texted me earlier today, like, hey man, yeah, if you got like some clips or some screenshots, and I'm like, I haven't even opened the files. This is a monster task that I'm definitely going to procrastinate.
I was just making sure it was backed up. That was it. Yeah.
You just gotta put it, if you put it in Resolve and edit it multicam style.
That's what I'll end up doing. But even just getting stuff on there is like.
That's why I like cutting live.
like when I felt like back when Scoped was filming all the time, it was the perfect sauce was camera left, camera right, like either on stage or just like pointing, drum cam, and then some kind of bonus cam. So either something that's like a wide or shooting to the stage. And then I could kind of do the multicam with just these fingers, and I would only really switch to the drum or the ultra wide if it was like a cool drum fill that I liked, or I needed to see the monstrosity of like a pit starting to open up. But the majority of the time it was just cutting between the stage stuff, at least in the first rough
Imagine
cut.
Imagine having the drum cam showing and he's just sitting there.
I mean,
that'd be pretty funny.
Drummers do some hilarious things when they're just sitting, just waiting for the next song to play.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, that was one of a timeline of like when it will be finished, or is it like there's no set schedule as to when you have to have like draft 1 ready for captains?
They didn't make any timeline for me explicitly, but I feel like sooner the better. But
that's always the case, yeah.
Yeah, it's always the case, right? I think, I don't know what today's Thursday. Maybe this is my chance to hold myself accountable. You guys can help me hold myself accountable. I think I could get a first draft by the end of next week.
How long's the set?
90 minutes.
Damn.
It can't be that bad.
I don't think it will be that bad. It's just, I really just have to like budget time to me in my schedule to like pace around my house and be like, hey, I have to do that now. I actually feel like edit now.
Are you doing stuff in the music scene like full time, or do you have like a job as well?
Everything that I do right now involves my camera at the very least. So it's not all in music. I do like stuff for small businesses and restaurants around the city and help make content, shoot other events as well. I would like it for all to just be music, but sometimes bands don't have enough money to pay me, so.
Yeah, if there's anyone that understands that, it's me for sure. Yeah.
Grayson, who shot the Bruiserweight music video that was like for the last for off your demo, like where it was outside at like the skate park? Oh, am I pulling up something
You don't
that
know?
you don't?
I just wish that would exist.
You wish it didn't exist.
Oh,
Is that what you just
okay.
said?
Yeah, I kind of want to scrub it. It's so cringe.
That's so funny.
It was he was in some bands, and then some stuff happened, and now he's not in bands.
Oh, okay.
And he's
I've
not
hit a
really
sore
welcome.
spot.
He's not really welcome at shows. And there's like a lot of like weird shit. So I'm not gonna name his name or
That's
tell you
fair.
what
that's
song
fine.
the video is for or anything. Got a lot of traction on Instagram though. I just don't like it. I don't like that video. I don't like
the only thing that I was trying to imply, it was very well done. And to
there's a
circle it
person
back
in the front of that video that has created lots of beef with my band who it's pretty much on site with. So
don't you love when that happens?
Yeah, it's just
But
he's all butthurt about some rando shit.
We'll circle
anyway,
back to Alan because
thanks for liking the video.
No, this took an unnecessary darker turn.
I'll deep dive. I'll go in.
So we got back to the hotel very late, Alan, and I asked you this question right before we went to bed, and so it's a lot to balance the duality of being I'm running this crazy big production at one of the biggest shows that this band has ever played, the headliner, but you're also in a band that's on the same bill playing the biggest show of your guys' career to my knowledge. So like how do you balance that? The communication that's had between like your bandmates as well as like hey, like I'm unavailable for the next hour because I'm doing this, whether either side of the coin, how that falls.
Right. You kind of cut out at the beginning of that question.
Oh, okay.
Can you repeat that?
Yes. I asked you this question when we were at 4 a.m. just finally getting to the hotel, but the duality of being in a band as running production at equally as big a show for both parties. How have you found the rhythm of like, hey band, I can't be available for the next hour because I'm doing this, but then still being present when you guys have to do things within your band side? How do you balance that?
I think everyone in my band has a good understanding of what I do at shows that I'm like shooting. We've like attended shows together and they know that like, oh yeah, Alan's got to go do his thing. So I don't think they were too surprised at that. And the way that Gutter King operates when we are playing a show, we kind of all have our little roles that we do to like make everything happen. And I think I had an easy time delegating the things that I would normally do to the rest of the band. 'Cause I think there's just like that innate understanding that they have, especially with a band like Colonel Captain, since I've worked with them closely for a long time. They knew that I was going to be busy and that it was important. So it was important for them to pick up the slack in places that I like had no choice but to let go of a little bit. I make it sound like it was great and easy and went off without a hitch. There's definitely some messy overlapping moments where Spencer, you even like saved me. Where you're like, "Do you want me to go set up that tripod up at front house?" And I was like, actually, yes, that would be amazing." And I'm like tuning my guitar or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to do that. Oops. So, if we had a whole tour where the needs for me for for the headlining band and filming production and whatnot were to this sort of level, I'm sure by the end of the tour we'd have it figured out. But we've only had one at bat at it so far, and it was a little messy. I think there was points where I could improve, but I think everyone in my camp, from the media team and my band, had this like understanding that Alan's kind of caught in the middle of this, and we're just gonna try and help him, help everyone get this thing like moving and not screwed up. So I think it took everyone's cooperation and understanding.
I mean, like, if we Freaky Friday switch places, like, I think I could only do that once, and that's it. I wouldn't want to do that for a whole tour. I would be like,
that would be. I was
like,
gonna say,
bip, 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 bip. Quinn, can you please fly out and take this side of it, please? I can't. So
I absolutely would, but also, yeah, that would be insane to do for an entire tour for sure. I'm fully in agreement with Spencer on that one.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I would love that. I would love to try and like optimize that kind of workflow over the course of a tour. I'm saying that now. Maybe I would,
but like
my
playing
words 2 or
and
3 shows
doing
in.
all the video and photo stuff, that's so much.
If the opportunity for the band was right, I'm willing to like, I'll do whatever.
That's about
I'm waiting
that's
for
valid.
the opportunity to come through where a band is like, "We want to hire you," and I'm like, "Hold on, I'll do it for free, but you have to bring my band, and we're gonna open the show."
Oh, that's
so
the
I have to
interesting.
like
There you go.
hone this craft because I'm gonna catch that in one day.
That's the trick.
Leverage it.
Do you have a band that you would do that, like, knee-jerk reaction for? Like, no thinking about that?
I think there would be a lot of bands that would be down to do that for. I mean,
because
if it's
on
on
not
a
even
big tour, like, let's go.
Yeah, because it's not even the band that, this band would be fun to play shows with, but like on a creative and a visual aspect, it would be like stimulating to do that for 30 days straight.
No, I think when I'm thinking about this, I'm really just thinking about the band. Like, I love photo and video stuff, but if I can like just do the band or do things to increase the opportunities for the band, all that creative photo camera stuff is like totally secondary or tertiary even. So that doesn't even cross my mind when I think about this.
It crosses my mind personally, but that's just me.
I think there'd be cool bands that I, like, again, I guess I have a small Rolodex of bands that I've toured with, but if Motionless in White was like, "Hey, we'll take you up on that offer," that would be sick because their live show is crazy, and at least their headlining tours where they go all out are like a marvel to watch every night. With,
yeah,
like,
I could
crazy
understand
production
that.
and dancers, and that would be pretty stimulating to do every night. So maybe they're my choice then.
That's I feel like Gutter King.
What?
Spencer's having PC issues tonight.
There was one point where I had 2 screens sharing at the same time. I think there's still one, but then I think Quinn's is also sharing.
No, I'm not sharing.
Oh,
your screen is gone.
Part of me feels like I should just refresh my browser, and then a lot of this will go away.
Maybe.
No, you need to
could try
refresh
it.
a computer and throw the one you have right now in the garbage.
Yes. I'm just thinking, Grayson, what would you like? You're not a photographer per se, but
Well, I
if
run
you had
front
to,
of house audio.
okay,
Yeah, he does sound, so
who
similar
would
thing.
you do front of house audio for free? Granted, Bruiserweight's on tour, and you answer that while I
Pain of
am
Truth.
restarting. Oh, that was too quick.
Pain of Truth.
What'd you say?
Pain of Truth.
Pain of Truth. Okay.
Yeah, that's who I would do it for. I would.
I'm
forego
kind
my
of
fee.
I'm kind of in the middle of like
I'll be
starting
right
a
back.
band.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm kind of in talks with a drummer, and then I'm gonna play bass, and then we just need to find like a guitarist. I would like to have 2 guitarists, but we'll see how that goes. So my answer to this question, who would I like want to open for, but also do like photo and video for? The thing is, we're like doing like a Midwest emo, and I want to say La Dispute because they're like one of my favorite bands ever, but that's a weird genre
Scramsy?
collaboration.
Yeah.
So if I had to choose someone within like the Midwest emo scene, it would probably be Saturdays at Your Place or Mom Jeans.
Good choices.
It's not Mom Jeans in so long.
Yeah.
That's cool. Are they still playing?
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
I love Mom Jeans. And I saw Saturdays at Your Place when they opened for Arm's Length in Toronto.
I still can't believe that band is from Kingston.
I know.
There's nothing from Kingston.
Welcome back, Spencer.
Yes, I'm back.
Thank you for
Now there's
joining us.
now there's no screen share.
I don't know if it made your video any better, though.
It definitely didn't.
Oh, come on.
We'll work through it.
You still like a little
Yeah.
fuzzy fuzzball.
What I
Yeah.
do want to say, Alan, if Gutter King ever comes through Winnipeg, let me know. We got some
Will
opportunities
do.
for you over here. And book an extra day in Winnipeg. That's
An
my
extra
tip for you.
day
An extra
in
day.
Winnipeg.
Man,
in
I've never
Winnipeg.
heard of anyone ever being like, let me book an extra day in Winnipeg.
We're cooking
Said
some
no
stuff.
one ever.
We're cooking some stuff up. This weekend we're actually filming Costin and Chilio, but not their show. So if you want to know what that's about, I'm just saying.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What could that be?
Quinn, we do have a segment here on the show called Did Quinn Cook or Do We Cook Quinn? And what Quinn is cooking is warrants us not to cook them. So
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
that's
Yeah,
that's
it'll
a
be-
tongue twister sentence.
That
just to say.
I sense the struggle. Yeah.
Yeah. It just worked out where Chilio and Costin were going to be in Winnipeg early anyways, so we're doing something with them. But I've reached out to a bunch of other bands, like Calling All Captains being one of them. I reached out to Luke and told him, like, if you guys are planning on coming to Winnipeg again soon, book an extra day, we'll hook you up. I also, for anyone who might be watching, or, you know, for Alan, if you want to know this as well, Grayson, Spencer, this obviously goes out to you guys too, if you guys ever come back to Winnipeg. You know, we host bands at my house too, so just give me a message and we can work something out with that too, so you guys don't have to spend money on a hotel. Well, Spencer, you probably still have family here, so I don't know if you have to worry about
not.
that. But no, you don't? Really?
All my family moved away.
Okay.
Winnipeg is just a place I resided.
I got
Fair-
It's not.
Fair enough.
I was
But
offered
yeah,
by the
we
entire
can
Winnipeg
host-
Jets hockey
we-
team to stay at their house. So
We can host if any of y'all come through, so
So,
Yeah.
no taken. We definitely want to hit up Winnipeg. We tried last year when we headed out east, but we just couldn't make anything happen. So I think we spent maybe an hour in Winnipeg to get lunch, but then we
yeah.
kept
Makes
trekking on
sense.
through.
Makes
where did
sense.
y'all play out east?
Wow,
I
you're
s-
testing my geography knowledge right now and my memory, which is so shot. We played.
I remember seeing the poster for this.
Yeah, it was 4 whole dates that I'm struggling to remember. It was Ottawa, Toronto, and what are
Oh.
those? Or Toronto, sorry, my bad, guys. I learned that lesson over
Toronto.
there.
Toronto.
Toronto.
Where was it?
Montreal?
No.
I don't think it would have been
Am I gonna
Montreal.
Embarrassing enough to look this up.
Weren't they all dates in the GTA? I feel like I remember
Yeah, they
seeing
were
the
like
poster for
right
this.
there. We
Okay.
tried booking dates further east and couldn't get anything, and then we tried booking dates between Calgary and Toronto, and we couldn't find anything. But we were like,
Thunder Bay.
we had
You gotta
Thunder
hit
Bay.
up Thunder Bay,
That's another
bruh.
one. That's another one we want to hit up.
Well, in terms of like also getting dates and like finding venues and stuff out here, I can also help with that. You know, I've worked at just about every single venue in Winnipeg, so yeah.
What's the one DIY venue that people always play at in Winnipeg? What's that called?
There's like hardcore shows now have been playing at St. James Lanes. But outside of hardcore, and some hardcore shows do still happen there, but Handsome Daughter. And then there's also the newest venue, which is like a little bit bigger than the Handsome Daughter, I think, and that's Side Stage.
Cool.
Yeah.
No taken.
I feel like Side Stage would be the Gutter King equivalent, or appropriate space.
I'd
That's
agree.
just me.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to get back on the rails because I always have to look at my clock and then realize that Grayson is 2 hours ahead. So,
Yes, sir.
so the last thing that we're going to quickly look through is some of the 360 footage from the Colonial Captain set. And I posted a little beginnings of the set on my personal Instagram, but I love this camera so much because you can really just see things that just you didn't really catch with your own two eyes. So hopefully I can pull this up within Riverside without exploding. So
I love that you can retroactively just do that. I love that camera so much.
It's so
such
sick.
a good camera.
Well,
It's sick.
So Captains had like their countdown to their performance with that Nickelback song, which I was like, that's sick. Regardless, like that very much speaks to me. But the fact that that guy fucking did the drum film, like, okay, he's about it. So like Alan said, like within this photo pit that kind of wraps the stage is like an octagon, like half of an octagon. Trapezoid? No, what's the shape called?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyways,
Draw it with your hand.
It's here. I have a pen. Hold on. It's like
Draw it with. Make your fingers do it. Like that. Like this.
Here. This is Spencer cooking. So it's like. Can you see
Brother, that? I can barely see your face in that camera. You think I can see that piece of paper?
That's not important. So I'm on this side. Alan's around the other side. And you're going to see a number of security guards that are kind of the main obstacles in within the set. So this is like right at the beginning. And I'm like, okay, it's time to fucking go. I think that's actually the first time I've filmed a fucking confetti like cannon situation. So
Looks like a party.
it is a party. Also, like, I think I can go back a little bit, but the security guard who was standing right beside it, I don't think he was anticipating that. So you can see him kind of just like
He flinched.
Oh yeah.
Because
I don't know if everyone was sufficiently ready for all the cues. I was like
briefed on
watching that set list with all like the highlighted words for the cryo was gonna happen and the confetti was gonna happen. And there's a few times where I had to like walk over and like tap a security guard or another photographer. I was like, yo, that thing is about to go off. You should take a step over or else you're gonna it's gonna come for you.
Yeah, dog, that thing next to your head is gonna blast.
Yeah, 10,000 psi, or maybe a million psi. Actually,
somewhere in between 10,000 and a million. It's gonna blast.
10,000 and a million.
It's somewhere in there.
Just one more time.
Dude, it's a bunch of gas too. Did you see the blowback on it?
Oh yeah, it like you really see the fucking ricochet or recoil, I guess. There was a moment too, I think later in the set where would you call it the cryo?
Cryo.
The cryo. And it was with the security guard that you told me that I think he was like at another show was like having a drug overdose or something.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
But yeah, that's a story for another time. But not an overdose. Sorry, I should walk it back. He was tweaking. I think that was the
okay.
Yeah. But
he was going through something. He was not fully present.
It was enough that people were like, he's probably being let go after this job, but he's still working there.
It takes a lot to get fired from security at a venue. I've learned.
Yeah, but to be fair, he's not the biggest dude in the he's kind of like slimmer. But anyways, he was trying to grab a crowd surfer, and I guess the fucking gates were open with the cryo, and it's just like I saw him he was like engulfed by it. I probably have that on the 360 somewhere, but I could only upload like a couple of minutes from this, so we'll just keep through. There's so much from this.
You're like all up in that dude's grill.
The security guard?
Yeah, you're super close to him.
Did you give him a little smooch?
I was like, okay, well, in Alan's defense, I was hired to do a job, and then we did not discuss how to shoot around the security guard. So you're gonna see later how I had to kind of maneuver through.
Who's that?
So this is Alan. Her name is Kristen.
Yeah, Kristen.
Yeah. Fellow photographer at the show. Very nice. It was our first time actually having a interaction. So this is more of just seeing a moment of when you're doing the thing alongside someone else and you kind of just look over at because again, this is so early in the night, and we were very much okay, the vibe is good, and you can see that we started to have to equally find our way around the security. So it's kind of she sees an opening.
Oh yeah.
And then I kind of had to scoot in as well.
I'm just gonna scooch in right here.
But she's
the security guard.
Pretty
the
much.
Security guard turned around and was like, "What the fuck?"
This is also a very minute detail, but I hate the biggest bane of my existence when filming is stray mic stands. So when I'm trying to get a shot of Luke in the center, I don't want to be shooting past this mic stand here. So it's okay, I'm on here, and then I'm gonna hopefully be close enough where I can be fully zoomed and shoot past the mic stand. But that's again a very very minute
Sometimes it's not
autistic
possible.
detail.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not possible, but at least for photos, you can edit out the mic stand if you really want to. Video, you can. This, like, that's like the hero shot moment. That's like I need to get the best composition at this, like, frame specific time. Big stance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think Luke was playing it up for me when he saw. Yeah.
My question for you guys, did you film in like log footage or and like color corrected after, or are you just shooting like with color?
So at least for the 360, I don't think you can select the log.
No, but I mean like on your actual camera.
I'll let Alan answer that because that's his domain.
Yeah, I got everyone to shoot S-Log3, 24 frames, and unfortunately 4K. Since I knew they would want that, but I was doing the math of like, oh god, that's actually going to be so much memory. I had to go buy another hard drive specifically for this show, so
that's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Did you just need a 1 or did you need 2?
I got a 2. Because Sam had
because that project file is gonna add up.
Yeah. So, and I didn't know how big Sam's files were gonna be since he's shooting on some cinema camera or something. So,
did he have a Red?
No, it was a Canon something. I don't even know.
Oh,
dude, I said hello to him. Excuse me, and then I said in between, and then I said goodbye to him. So. I didn't have any time to notice what he was actually shooting on.
I think before the show started, he got his shit set up, and then he kind of was just parked by his, like, 5-figure setup, as he should. Like, he doesn't want to just walk away. There was a moment where I was like, I should go make sure he's alive, and if he needs, like, a Diet Coke or something. So, yeah, like, popped in a couple times, but... he's like a real deal like freelancer. He's like, I'm just here to shoot and just give me directions and I'll do the thing. So
yeah, he was great.
I'm stoked to see, like the 70-200 where he was at. That's like that's the shot or the angle I'm looking forward to seeing the most because I think it can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was part of the reasons why I didn't go back to him because on one of the earlier times after he had set up, he'd show me what it looked like down his camera, and it looked like a movie. I was like, okay, like you're good. I'll see you later. Yeah. Like I don't need to babysit you at all.
Peace. Yeah. That was like one of those moments where it's like saw him jump, like sometimes you're not really processing like what is actually being said. I was like, oh, he's jumping. Oh, everyone else is jumping. Oh shit! And I'm just like swinging around as quickly as I can. Oh, very sick tripod move. But again, I didn't get the best angle of it because Mr. Security Guard's right in the way. So I'm hoping there's a better, like, top down, or maybe it's that 70-200 and is catching that a little bit. Yeah, and that's it.
Just mugging with the Pain of Truth hat on. It's like...
I was having a good ass time. I haven't done that in a bit, and
that looked
I think
like a sick show.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, and Alan, I think I might have mentioned this to you, and maybe I didn't. When you reached out to me, I honestly thought I would be doing what, like, and there's a role to play in every angle, whatnot. But when I asked you, like, oh, like, where are you thinking everyone's gonna stand, and you said, oh, like, probably me and you, like, are gonna be like on the stage. I was kind of like, oh. And I almost felt nervous for a second because I thought I was truly like oh, I haven't done this in a long time. I'm probably going to be like in the back of the room with like the wide angle shot that doesn't really move as much. But I kind of felt it felt good for me to do that, and the fact that you kind of like entrusted me to kind of just throw me back into the metaphorical and literal photo pit was that meant a lot to me. So I want to just thank you for having me a part of the production of this, because it very much warmed my soul.
Oh, dude, of course. You were like literally the first person I thought of. I was like, oh, live set, Spencer, duh. Of course.
Duh,
yeah.
obviously.
It's like riding a bike, right? You can just get right back on it. And at least I kind of felt the same way. I was like, man, I haven't shot something like this in a minute too. In the first couple songs, I was like a little bit all over the place. I was even like hitting, I was like ending my shots, thinking, okay, it's into that song, and then oh wait, hold on, no, I'm not done yet. I keep going. So I eventually found the groove, but dude, I had no question that you'd be able to fill the role, and then after and throughout, you were like instrumental in it going well, because I was all over the place, and you were like, what about this? Did you hit record on the drum cam? Like, do you need help? And I was like,
I was going through all the things that I remember filming fests and shows and bigger productions where it's just like, I can't like, I've literally filmed sets and then it's like, thanks, have a good night, and then I'm like, okay, and I go to press the record button to end the recording and then realize that I didn't even press record to begin with. And it's just my dumbass on stage on standby, just so it's one of those things where it's like I've done like 10,000 reps when it comes to that. So yeah, it kind of was a good reminder, is like, oh yeah, I can pick this up whenever I want and jump back into it if I really want to. And I think my reasonings for like retiring from doing it, because I had done it for free for so long, were what I needed at the time. But I honestly love getting paid is nice, but also just being a part of a thing is also like, I think knowing how sick it would have been, I would be totally fine to do that all again, like just for the sake of doing it. So yeah, it was a fucking blast, and I'm really excited to see it when it's all done. But I know I don't envy, like, it's clear that I do not have the computer that could even withstand a 9-camera set right now. So
you could barely handle a 1-camera set.
It really, yeah.
Because all the recording's happening in the cloud. Like, he's not even recording to his computer.
Yeah, it's a very bro moment. I would say, all my taxes are done, but then I'm like, I owe money for my taxes because I'm a independent contractor. So I will not be getting a thank you for paying your taxes thing from the government for a while.
Same.
I got a sizable amount back.
Do you want to buy me a new computer?
I already spent it all.
Oh yeah, see? It's all gone.
Yeah, I had to call my accountant because I was confused. I was like, why do I owe money? And turns out it was the government of Canada fucked my shit up. So
nice.
But it's fine. I'll pay it.
How much do you owe?
Like $450, both provincial and federal.
Oh.
That's not bad.
I was just trying to throw it back at you, because as soon as we started this, you were like, who did you vote for? So I was like, I'll ask you a really, invasive and private question. You're like,
I had to pay like $1,000, but it's because I had some additional shit that wasn't taxed properly.
I got way more back than I was expecting to.
Alan did his taxes which day?
The last
day
day
before? The last
Was that yesterday? Yeah, it would have been The night before and the day of, I was
That's
trying to do
insane.
my taxes by myself for the first time.
You filed like yesterday?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The last day.
That's
yeah.
psychopathic.
Oh yeah. I mean, this show, I was like, so many things, all of my responsibility, I was like, okay, the show's on the 26th, all my responsibilities will start on the 27th. And then I took the 27th off. And then I took a slow start on the 28th. And then suddenly it's the 29th and 30th, and it's like, well, I have no choice but to do this right now.
The government doesn't care about this sick-ass Calling All Captain show that just happened.
Yeah, come on. Come
I
on,
just hired
government.
somebody to do mine.
I'm
I just like give him
so
my shit.
glad my accountant only cost like $50.
Damn.
Yeah, that must be nice.
Yeah, H&R Block does not cost that. It costs more than that.
Well, I
that
don't
was
go to
part of my
H&R Block. We
problem.
hire like my mom has like someone in not in the family, but he's been doing our taxes for forever, and he's like an independent person, so not
That's
tied to
very
like any bank
independent.
or anything. Yeah.
I had an appointment at H&R Block on, would have been the 28th or 29th, I don't remember now. But I had another shoot scheduled before my appointment, and that just went long. So I maybe miss it.
Are we getting played out right
Is this
now?
happening? Am I hearing this?
Oh, sorry. I didn't, I clicked on it to get it ready, and then it was, no.
You gotta hit preview,
I thought that was
dog.
me
That's
for a
so
second.
rude.
You gotta hit preview. I was like, why is this
I
guy
was
just
like, is this
playing
Oh,
supposed
it's
out?
still
Yeah.
playing? No, I said stop.
No, it's playing now.
It's playing now. Oh my god. Jordan.
Someone get this guy a new computer.
Where's Jordan?
Where is Jordan?
How would Jordan call this?
Oh, it's going.
Spencer.
I think my
Playing
inputs
again.
are just like. I said stop. No means
Sure.
no. Yes, I'm sure. Sorry, Alan. You were talking about your taxes.
That's all good. You know what? I'm happy to be cut off when talking about taxes. So
Yeah,
maybe
that's
that was
the
a
world
sign.
being like.
Yeah, but how much
all
healthcare
good.
did you use this year? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, technical flips aside, Alan, I really appreciate you calling in to chat about the show and all the stuff that comes with it. Anything you want to plug or shout out before we go?
I guess shout out Aaron, Jamie, Sam that helped on the media side. The show, shout out my band, give us a follow, Gutter King, and if you want to find me, Alan B_dude, everywhere. Dude spelt incorrectly, DOOD.
Does that come
Shout
from
out
something?
9th grade Alan. No, that was just the first thing that came to mind.
With zeros.
Yeah. No. O's, not zeros.
No, I'm just kidding. Like,
Oh.
It's like that Devil Wears Prada song, HTML rules, dude.
That's right.
Dude is just
yeah.
boob with D's.
You could tell
Right?
people
D's
your
what?
last name and they'd believe you.
Oh, don't no,
I get
I
that
won't.
all the time.
That's too easy.
These what?
Huh?
Roll the outro.
This is why I don't go to hardcore shows.
All right. Alan, do you want to be a part of the outro? Well, I guess you kind of were.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, am I signing off and you guys are going to say goodbye because we can make that happen? I had no idea what I was getting into. I didn't realize I had to download an app to get onto this thing. I was like,
Exactly.
Oh shit! Did you need to download an app?
If you're on the phone, you gotta download an app.
Yeah.
Oh,
On the phone.
well, that's good knowledge to know because you're our first call in, and I've
I've been having to
prefer to know
disclaimer
that.
people. I've been having to tell them, download the app.
Yo, I'm going to let you
Well-
guys do your outro. Thank you guys for having me. And we'll talk soon.
Bye, Alan.
Peace.
We love you.
Peace.
You're the best. I want you to stay. Oh, he's gone. Well, another badass episode with all the mistakes and funny moments. But there's just one thing I gotta say. And I'm going to say it right now. No more photographers. I'm so brave to say it. Start a band. Do video instead. Do something. But maybe no more photographers. Thanks for tuning in. This is Do It or Don't, coming at you every Tuesday. We'll be back next week to talk about Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, Thug 1 and 2, and probably some other shit. Be well and be safe. We love you. Bye.